Welcome to a very special episode of Potty Talk After Dark.
We have Mackenzie Salhany here, and a fun fact about KENZ is that her and I actually went to Miami together and ate the most pristine lobster pasta at Soho House, and then proceeded to take about a 3-hour walk home that evening because I don't know why. We were on the beach and everything went wrong. So let's roll the intro.
And we were drunk.
Now let's roll the intro.
Welcome back to Potty Talk, the podcast where we shit talk ourselves. And I'm Tor, and today we have the BFF of the century. Mackenzie Salhany is here to spill all the tea that's ever been created.
Beyond just BFF and really just extreme jokester overall, a personality we love. There's also Potty Talk After Dark, must I clarify, resident bartender. Yep. Sorry, that was a really lackluster intro, but we're just going to go with it.
No, she is the resident bartender of Potty Talk After Dark. So welcome to everyone tuning into this very special episode. We're going to kick it off. KENZ, we're sending it your way because you're going to introduce the cocktail of choice for the eve. So anyone listening, guys, if it's 10 p.m., time to roll out the cocktail, just get your goods.
I already love how this episode is significantly worse than every other episode.
It's a mess, and this is how it's going to be.
This is perfect. So okay, cocktail, talk me through it because I am ready.
Okay, so I know you're 75, so yeah. I figured I would make the Potty After Dark version of a French 75. Okay?
I love this.
So basically, I've got my shaker already. I've got full of ice. We are going to start with some gin.
Oh, beautiful.
Now, if you're making a cocktail, it doesn't need to be fancy gin. You could use a shot glass. I like to call it intuitive bartending.
We also would like to clarify that she does have her license to serve. We do things following regulations over on Potty After Dark.
This is very true.
Okay.
So I'm following you. I'm just pouring a shot.
I'm
just here to be the cheerleader. That's where I really stand in life. But good job.
That can go in your mouth. That could go in your drink. It can go wherever you want. But then I'm going to add some Saint Germain. It's an elderflower liqueur. So I do about half of what I put in of the gin. But again, intuitive bartending, however you feel.
Intuitive bartending.
I have a real question, KENZ, a bartender question. So if you're looking at a shot glass that has this short top and then this top, is that 1 ounce and then 2 ounces?
Totally depends on the jigger, but if it's usually 2 and then 1, it might be 1.5 and half of that. But it depends.
I feel like that's not a full 1.
No, that seems like a half of.
That might be a half, and the top one might be a 1.
Okay, then I'll take one of the half and one of the bottom just to make sure
just
that
for good measure.
Just to make sure.
You never have to be that precise, I don't think.
You have a great setup, bartender KENZ.
You do.
Thank you so much. It's just the essentials. I'm usually out of things because we go through it so fast. But
it's just the essentials.
It's so much food.
It's an entire collection.
I hate me. Okay, then I'm going to take fresh lemon. I'm just going to squeeze that in there. This is none of that squeeze stuff, okay? Like
I hate to interrupt, bartender Kenzie. This is just reminding me of the first day I ever met you. You arrived at Torri's house with a bag full of limes, and Torri didn't have a lime squeezer. She only had a garlic press.
Yeah.
So you start garlic pressing limes to make us homemade margaritas.
What? And I did it. It took hours, and I did it.
Wait, when was this?
This was like the first time I ever hung out with you because Matt was there. It was a bachelor night. And
it was a bachelor night.
Yeah, it was that first night.
We juiced limes through a garlic press.
I think that really just shows who we are in our friend group. I think that really sheds light.
The resilience and the dedication to the craft.
That's what I'm saying.
And like very desperate. Very, very.
Some call it desperate. We call it resourceful.
Let's not forget the desperation of that. Yeah.
Back to the instructional video.
Okay, so at this point, we've got gin, we've got ice, we've got elderflower liqueur. If you don't have elderflower liqueur, you can use something light, a little florally, or you can kind of go completely the citrus route. And then fresh squeezed lemon. Okay, now I'm just going to shake.
While you shake, I'm going to stir.
I love it. I'm sorry if this is super loud.
No, that sounds actually
really soothing.
Wonderful.
You want to get it like quite cold. All right.
Oh, Corey, are you just intuitively creating over there?
Yeah. I have a bit of cucumber for my Hendrix. I have gin and tonic. So
Yes, that is the way to go. Okay. From there, so if you're using big ice cubes, you could strain it if you want, but I put crushed ice in mine because I just like that a little bit better. So I'm going to pour that straight into a glass. And then I'm just going to top it up with some champagne.
oh, this is a woman who knows my heart.
You know.
Now, KENZ, how long had you bartended for? I know you don't currently bartend, but you have many of experiences.
I probably bartended for like 10 years.
That's
8
crazy.
to 10 years, I'd say, give or take, before I stopped. But I mean, I'm still doing it all the time, but probably about 8 to 10 years. It was like my first.
Be clear, you're still doing it all the time for yourself.
Yeah, for fun. You have a different career path.
I am now a bartender for myself and my boyfriend.
That is absolutely the truth. Yeah, I still do it purely for my own mouth.
I love it. Well, cheers, ladies. Okay.
Talk After Dark, the first episode.
So we'll have to dive in and give some
Great
context to Mackenzie, because so KENZ and I met in university very early on, like within the first like 2 weeks of first year, which yeah, it felt right. I mean, yeah, we met in very dramatic ways, as is the way our friendship continued, in the sense that she had rolled into class late and we just happened to sit beside each other and got to talking, and it all just fell into place.
I have to thank you for telling the PG version of
I
that.
did.
I was going to say, how potty talk are we getting today?
I told the PG version of that story, but it was great. Our first response meeting was very, very good. And we had a few mutual friends because they had come from the theater world. And then we really knew we were kindred spirits because we could just sing Broadway songs together.
Yeah.
And actually a fun fact about you at that time is that, and this is something probably KENZ doesn't even know, you were such a chameleon, because when I met you, I think you had pink hair. And then the next time I saw you, you had platinum blonde hair. And then you had blue hair or purple. Like, you were going through all the colors of the rainbow when I met you.
Sorry, I want to clarify what you meant when you said, in KENZ, you probably won't know this. What do you mean she did it?
Where are you drinking?
Jaclyn, you won't know this. That's what I meant.
She didn't know she colored her hair?
I wasn't there mentally. I wasn't there.
Amazing.
I mean, it was first year university. There was a lot of things that we were doing that were not helping our mental state. So
we're doing.
And to be clear, I only mean things that are legal. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Thank God I'm editing this episode so much.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Well, I have a very unique, I mean, obviously my first experience with hanging out with KENZ was through tour, and it was the garlic clove experience. But my first true bonding time with Kenzie was when, we had some physical bonding. And by that, I mean, I punched her in the face.
Oh my, she socked me square in the face.
Please
what
context to this story.
I appreciate KENZ definitely has not even a side to her. KENZ is an energetic, fun, life of the party kind of person. And
that's not a side. Yeah, that's constant.
Yeah, that's just is. We were surprising another friend in our friend group for her birthday. We took her down to Niagara Falls. We did a little wine tour, Niagara on the Lake, and then we ended up. Did we do a wine tour? Yeah, I think so. And then we ended up.
Absolutely, that's why we went to Niagara.
Oh yeah.
Was it?
Yes.
Anyways, we ended up at the casino, and everyone else was kind of being party poopers, if I'm completely honest. But me and Kenzie were just on a level, on a new wave. We were making widowed friends at the casino. We were actually, I think, consoling some people at some point. We had a whole other life. At this point, Torri and the rest of the gang had already retired.
I for some reason, was being so lame that night, which is so
very unlike you.
You know what happened? I peaked too early. Like, a day drink is so dangerous. And what happened was, by the time we had finished at all the wineries, like, if we had continued from 5 o'clock and gone straight to the casino, I would have been right there beside you. The problem is just, once you hit that peak and then you start to go downward and you're not like sleeping and rehydrating, that's game over.
Yeah, there's the finish line for sure.
And you'd had, at this point, you'd had like a glass of warm milk and you were getting ready to go to bed, and Jaclyn and I were hitting the slots, and like manipulating the bartenders at this
We
point.
were
100%.
absolutely living.
Yeah.
Long story short, me and Kenz end up sharing a bed that night. We're like, we've been there, whatever. We had the empty bed left over. Our one friend had to be in a snore laboratory because she has snoring problems. So she was locked up. Me and Kenz had to sleep together.
She was locked up. She actually was.
She fully was.
We gave her own room.
I think we gave her like a Honeycrisp apple
No,
and
I
closed the
paid
door and locked
Truly
it.
so much more money so that we didn't have to sleep in the same room as her.
Yeah. So then, long story short,
Everybody has that friend.
I'm very diligent about my sleep schedule. I have little bedtime reminders. When it hits 10 o'clock, I get a little, Jaclyn, go to bed. And also I have a wake up alarm, like a very peaceful, gentle wake up alarm that I forgot to turn off for this day. So as it does, 7 a.m. every morning, it has little birds chirping and little like beautiful, blissful wake up noises. And I can hear this. I'm awaking out of my slumber. Mind you, me and Kenz have only maybe been asleep for 4 hours maximum at this point, if
Generous.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh no, I want to turn it off before I wake up the entire hotel of us.
I'm so confused because I'm so confused by this story now that I'm hearing it back, because didn't we come back to the didn't I come back to the casino?
You did.
You guys
arrived
home?
And we
with
didn't
no
go
makeup.
with you.
You left again.
Oh.
You had no makeup on in your sweats. And when
You did leave again. Okay,
Yeah,
so even my second attempt to get you home did not work. Okay.
No, absolutely
clarifying
not.
that.
No, we
Cool.
had made a choice. We were there to play.
Yeah.
And anyway, so the next morning, 7 a.m. So I go to reach over Kenzie to the bedside table to get my phone and to turn it off. As I go to reach over her very carefully, Kenzie is awakened by the alarm and just completely jets upward from her sleep at the perfect moment where my arm is going over to reach the phone. So there's an interception. Boom! Directly in the face.
Also, imagine being punched in the face when you're that hungover, waking up, and you're like, Jesus.
You were
It was a
frozen.
different world.
You were like,
No, and like I met you for like hours before this, and you're just punching me square in the nose at like 8 in the morning.
you were so gracious about it, though. You were like, it's okay. And your face was like frozen. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. The alarm's buzzing at this point. I didn't even make it to the alarm.
Oh,
And
my
poor Kenz
God.
had gotten socked square in the face.
I heard sound effects of this, and I look over and I'm like, what's going on? And then Kenzie falls back to, I've been punched.
Yeah, I was like being beaten in my bed. That's what you did to me when you went to bed.
I am actually truly deceased by that story. And what's even better is like, it was just so well deserved for both of you to do it to each other, because you were so crazy that night. And I was like, and usually I'd be right there beside you. So I don't know what was going
there was
on.
something strange in the air that night, but from that moment, the nose to hand contact.
It was
We've been a trio.
Do you remember me trying to go to one of the bartenders at one of the bars, because the bars were shut down at 1 and it was a Saturday, and I was like, I tried to persuade them to open the bar again for us.
Was that around the widowed woman at the
Yeah,
hours after.
Hours later, you guys tried to go into a separate club, and you tried to get in, and a guy
Dragonfly?
No, it was another one. And then they go, sorry, ladies, we're literally closed. And Kenzie goes, you're absolutely not closed. I'm a bartender. I know what time bars close. And then they go, ma'am, we swear it's 2 a.m. This is last call. She goes, what?
It was 1 a.m. And that was really ratty of me, to be honest.
No, it's fine.
Something was wrong.
I also, it was more the fact that like any casino, time is lost, and you guys had just like gone into a vortex and you didn't know what time it was.
It was not 2 a.m. I swear. It was like 1, and I was gagged that the strip was closed.
Yeah, we really shut down Niagara Falls that evening.
Yeah, we truly.
And that is just really just a little taste of the potty talk stories we have.
No, it's really true, actually.
Dabble.
It's so funny because I think, well, it's not funny. It's entertaining to think how many like sides of us we have. Like, we're very diverse humans. And I think even the normal daytime potty talk show is actually not the same energy as Potty Talk After Dark. And I would just like to make that differentiation. So if you're tuning in and you're a new listener, just know this is different than the content you're going to get.
You're seeing us at our true worst. So
I wasn't allowed on Potty Talk during the day.
This is actually true. We had to make a whole other like literally fucking bonus episode just to be able to have her on. Like, I think that says a lot about you, KENZ.
Oh
in
my
a
God,
good way.
Thank you
In a
so
good
much.
way.
Absolutely incredible.
so much.
Well, KENZ, I feel like you really got to see Tor through the transition of life in those university years before I even knew her. Do you have any, you know, low lows or high highs of this friend as you guys grew throughout those years?
There are so many tales that I could tell that I don't think I'd be forgiven for if I told them.
Nice.
I respect that. We want her career not to be over. We
No,
want it
for
to be
sure. And like, if
thriving.
you catch me on the streets, like, I'll for sure tell you. But like,
Just ask.
but like, there's
Is
definitely
that
enough.
KENZ from Poddy Talk After Dark?
Tell us everything about how Torri was a literal crazy person.
No paparazzi, no. But I do have like several tour stories that are just like quintessential tour. Like, okay, for example, there was this one night that Torri and I just like had a long week. Like, I can't remember if we were in school, if we had like just recently graduated, but we were coming from a long day of work and we met up for like a glass of wine, like one singular glass of wine.
Classic.
At the keg. And then
Classic as well.
Yeah, true. I
That's really
literally,
funny.
I do free ad reads for them every day. I don't know how the keg is not sponsoring my life yet.
Sponsor Poddy After Dark. We will make things happen.
That would be an epic partner for Poddy After Dark. Seriously.
A wine pairing, a cocktail. Are you kidding?
Totally.
Okay, so we go for one drink, and a drink becomes like obviously the Brie app, and then the Brie app becomes full dinner, and then dinner becomes let's go have another drink. So we go down the street to this other bar, and we have one more drink, and then that bar becomes one more bar. And while we were there, I ran into like two of my bartender
Two
friends.
more friends, yeah.
So there was a party.
Let's be clear. It went from a glass of wine to a full-on bar crawl in less than 2 hours.
This is, you guys are already like really good friends at this point, right? This is
this was like
friendship.
Yeah, this was like
deep in.
This is like literally 12 months ago.
Yeah, for sure. So this is our third bar at this point. We run into our friends, and our friends make friends with these other guys that are at the bar, and they convince the girls to go to this club down the street. Okay, I'm not kidding. Torri is wearing a turtleneck, like a wool turtleneck. I have my laptop in a laptop bag, like in my hand.
We love a businesswoman.
We're like, yeah, we'll go.
This feels right.
This feels totally right.
I don't even know how I'm allowed into a club. I mean, let me first say, I've been denied at many a clubs, and not for the reasons you'd think. I've been denied at clubs. Well, I've been denied at clubs for wardrobe. Like, they'll say,
really?
Yeah, wardrobe. They're like, literally, ma'am.
For sure.
You're wearing open-toed shoes. Like, I showed up at the Thompson, which no longer exists, thank God. So this is not bad press for them. But I showed up there trying to get into a club, and they straight up were like, sorry, you're wearing open-toed shoes. And I was like, I have a foot issue, okay? I have warts. I was also a ballerina for many years.
I have warts.
I was like,
stop.
Like, it was crazy. So anyways, all this to say, the fact that I could now confidently, after all those bars, show up with KENZ at this club thinking I was getting in a full turtleneck is too much to bear.
And she did. And they didn't check my laptop bag. They were like, go do your business, miss. Like, they just let us in.
Dance floor, just swinging that thing around.
I swear I'm like coding at the bar. Like, who knows? Anyway, just to say that like this night got so out of hand so quickly. And literally the last thing I remember is the lights going on at the club. And like, I've not seen the lights go on at a dance since I was in like elementary school, and they like told you to get on the school bus.
You don't want to see the lights go on in a club. That is a bad look.
And like, you're looking around at everyone, you're like, oh no. And I'm carrying a laptop bag, and Torri is in a wool turtleneck.
That's incredible.
Also, didn't we happen to like I had to go outside the back door to find you at one point? I thought you disappeared. Like, it was crazy. That night was insane. I don't know what happened. I don't know how I made it home.
Stop me if this is too much, but like, did you not get into it with a bouncer about trying to find me?
Yeah, I mean, always. This is me in every scenario, which apparently I'm starting to get in trouble for by multiple friends. And I'll use Madison as an example. We were out once, and I was out with Madison, and she was gone, I swear, in my head for 45 minutes. She goes, Tor, I was gone for like 5 minutes. I'm like, no, there's no way. 45 minutes went by. So I don't know if it's like fully me and I think everyone's lost if I haven't
You're
seen
the
them in
common
5
denominator
minutes.
after
But
these
no,
multiple
but
stories.
I swear, and maybe, but then I even said to Madison, I'm like, no, you're absolutely wrong. Like my Apple Watch, like I keep track of time. Like,
You're not wearing your Apple Watch to the club, are you?
No, she absolutely was at that club. Like, absolutely was.
yeah.
And she had her pager on her belt as well. Like, she was ready
incredible.
to find me.
I was looking for you. I don't know, but apparently I'm like now into this, like making sure my friends aren't lost. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I came after you with the bouncer.
There's one other really, really good one. And I just have to say, there was one time in first year when, you know, we're all kind of like, I want to say we're all testing our limits, but I was already like 100 that year. So like I wasn't. But anyways, you know, we're all having some drinks and celebrating and whatever. And at one point, Torri disappears and she's obviously not feeling so well. And I find her in the bathroom and she has changed into another gown from the first.
Really?
That is the most
Yeah,
story.
I don't even remember this. Yeah, this is the thing though. Even this, and for any advice for anyone listening, like have a drink, have fun, but know yourself. And if you're going to change and be sick, you better put on another outfit that is just as good as the first.
Have a gown, have a pre-bathroom gown ready
100%.
just in case.
Was that at my own house? Was it my own party?
Mm-hmm.
That story would have made 10 times, like, it would have been so much better if you were just like, no, it wasn't at my house. That was not my gown. Or you just like brought the gown.
I start pulling dresses from other people's closets.
Just in case.
No, she arrives to the party with a garment bag.
I could see that.
Something I would do. I also think though, in retrospect, maybe that's why I liked hosting so much at that time, because you feel a sense of like safety and control, and you can just be like, okay, it's all under my command.
Yeah.
If I need a new gown, it's right here.
And she had so many gowns.
That's so true.
That just reminds me of how much luggage you brought to Amsterdam.
We need a moment to talk about this. And actually, Torri, you were editing this, and I would demand that you insert a video clip for reference of you arriving in Amsterdam for 4 days, 3 nights?
Jack, I will send you this, I swear. She had like 12 pink suitcases that were up to her hip, which is not very tall to begin with, but they were up there. And our hotels were like a 4-minute walk apart. And this girl navigating the streets of Amsterdam with all, is it a shot time?
Yeah, I fucking hate this story. Cause I'm like, this is the thing. I don't hate the story. I think it really says a lot about me as a person, and I got some terrible feedback today on the podcast.
Oh wait, KENZ will die about
this. So
basically,
she'll
make us feel better about this.
This person is like, Torri is the worst human. She's so spoiled. She like whatever, just all the bad things you could possibly say about someone. Like just the worst. Like whatever.
It was more than just like a mean. It was like mean spirited. Like it was a little malicious. It was like it was definitely rude.
Haters back off.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. As Torri said,
it's fine. Kim Kardashian tells me they make me famous. So
there we go. Okay. That was her response.
Also though, like, you know what? Had enough of that. If you hadn't brought all, 42 of those suitcases to Amsterdam, I wouldn't have had clothing to pull from.
True. Think of the positive.
Benefit you.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
like, that's what a friend is for. It's like
and you know what the truth really is, and this is just it. I just don't give a fuck. So it's like I'm not gonna apologize for caring about clothing. I can't say sorry for that.
And like, okay, my last little hot take on this isn't like Survivor Outback. Like you can bring as much clothing as you want to bring because it's your vacation.
Yeah.
And you don't need to put it into some shitty sack on your back. I'm just saying.
I will say 3 hot pink away suitcases for a 3-day travel is a little excessive. And we're not talking 3 little carry-ons. We're talking the full giant size check bag, the medium, and the small.
But I will say that none of you knew what we got up to in Amsterdam, and those 3 massive suitcases were very necessary.
Yeah,
you know and she knows herself. She knows herself.
The reality is, I also say this too, like in all seriousness, like what someone does that doesn't hurt someone else or doesn't affect someone else, I feel like should always be their choice. Like I feel like I've gotten active hate, and I don't mean from you, KENZ, but I do mean
from me.
It's love from me.
Is that from me?
I get
not from you, KENZ.
I get active hate. No, not you, Jack. What? So there was a bit of a delay.
Yes, you, jaclyn. It's from you.
Oh, I'm like, oh God. I probably said some things. I pass judgment.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, I think you are more of a like rational packer than me, but I mean, no, like active hate from like family members, other people traveling with me. Sometimes it is you.
Members of the community.
Yeah. I think people take a lot of offense from the way I pack. And I just want to say, like, look, I'm happy out here. Like, why does anyone care? I'm the one paying for the bags at the end of the day. I'm the one in this freaking video lugging it down the streets of Amsterdam on this old cobblestone road. So don't even worry.
That's the best part about this video. You're on like a 4-wheeler, like it's not getting pulled. It's like upright luggage, getting directly pulled across cobblestones with like it looks like such a struggle, but it's incredible.
Also, just like there's so many people spewing so much hate just about things that literally don't matter because they're just like judgmental. And you know what? She provided me like 4 solid days of laughs with those damn bags and
4 solid outfits.
And at least 4 solid outfits.
Are you kidding? I had like probably 5 outfits per day. We were staying in this one place that was like actually a crown jewel. It was as if I had bought a room out of Gossip Girl. It was like unreal.
It was.
And we must have had 17 photo shoots in there. And then we came back. Actually, this is really my highlight of that room. And KENZ, I'm sure you can attest to this. So we went also Amsterdam for anyone listening, like go to, well, no. Go when
don't go tomorrow. Definitely don't go tomorrow.
Oh,
but
God.
As soon as you can go, absolutely go.
Yes, as soon as
good message.
Yeah, and that makes me sad. As soon as the world is back,
can we post this episode?
No, I can cut that out. It's fine.
Oh my God.
Why? I just said go when the world gets back to normal. What's wrong
just
with
this
that?
entire episode? I just love how the thing is. I hope this. You know what? This is my message for the viewers out there. I hope this does reach air because I think there's a beauty to something like Poddy After Dark, where this is a conversation. We're just hanging out, having a Zoom meeting. We just happen to be recording it. This isn't like for the podcast. This is just hanging, you know?
No, but I also just want to take a tidbit out of David Dobrik's podcast for a second, where he says, none of this has any substance. Don't trust anything I say. And I just want to retweet that. It's like, you know what? Just we're out here having fun. So do not take offense. Everything we're saying is for our own internal hilarity. So
yeah, we're just here to be an extended girlfriend to you, whoever's listening. Like we just want to have a little chat. We're not here dropping facts. You know, we don't know what we're saying.
There's so much crap going on in the world right now, and it is truly, truly tragic. Like you need friends, and you need to laugh.
I have to flag. Whoever's phone is absolutely.
It's me. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. But I'm surprised it's not Ross's phone. I'm on him for this all the time.
Every episode, Torri just keeps it going on the podcast. That's another criticism I do have towards her.
I didn't mean to say anything negative about going to Amsterdam. I just mean go to Amsterdam when it's available in a time when you want to plan a trip to some place you love.
And send us a message because, oh my God, we saw all of Amsterdam. We walked
in
so
5
much.
days. Yeah, we really did. No, but my highlight, which I was trying to get to, is I don't know how we found this place, and I'm pretty sure, oh my God, no, I do know how we found it. So we were shopping.
Sorry, did y'all just experience that with me?
Are there ghosts over there, Jaclyn?
Something just happened. Whoa, that was weird. Sorry, keep going. I'm just going to investigate. Maybe.
Okay. So weird. So anyways, don't you remember we were shopping and then we said to that guy, we were like, hey, where should we go out tonight? And he said, oh my gosh, go to this place, like this club. And we went to that club, like down under where there was that huge dance party with like the arms that was moving.
Yes.
And we went there. And then when we went back to the hotel, we, in this like Palace Gossip Girl room, we like ordered spaghetti at like 3 a.m. and pizza. And we like had a slumber party. We were like jumping on the bed. It was insane. Amsterdam is a great
I've always heard amazing things about Amsterdam. I really have. It's definitely on my list.
Us 3 have to go back because I just like, we went for like a weekend tour?
We wouldn't return. Yeah. We would die.
That was also ridiculous. I'm like, yeah, Europe for the weekend. Let's go.
That was the craziest gag of my life.
I would do it again, but we just can't in this moment.
Oh, I would do it again every year. It was
that actually reminds me, KENZ, you do definitely bring out good question mark or bad. I'm unsure which one it is. But actually, when you were gifted the Amsterdam trip, the birthday when we were at the Four Seasons, in that hotel room, do you remember that's the night when I broke my neck?
Mm-hmm. Is there an opportunity where you can cut to that footage in this
We
podcast?
could also insert that footage. Torri, you've got a lot of edits to post in this.
Because there's
something about you bring it out of me. I just want to be chaotic. Like absolutely chaotic.
I
No,
know. I feel like
yeah.
I used to do that too, but now you're so used to me that you don't care anymore, Jaclyn. And I feel like now Kenzie is that for you.
I mean, we've
Yeah.
definitely all been brought together by like a very chaotic energy, and that's just the truth of it. I mean, this might be like not the nice thing to say, but when I meet people that are just like nice, I'm just kind of like,
Do
okay.
you want to hear the craziest thing actually that you just said that? So Megan, who also should be greatly added onto Potty Talk After Dark at another
Oh,
time.
she's very potty.
We'll
talk
just be
after
doing
dark.
shots in the background.
Yes, her and
Mm.
I truly just had this conversation, and literally you took the words out of her mouth because Megan goes, the last thing and her Irish beautiful accent, I wish I could do her justice.
Oh, we know someone who can. How
It's
now,
not
brown
me.
Cow? How
No,
now, brown cow? How now,
literally,
brown
the
cow?
last thing I ever want to be called is nice. And I said, wow. And she goes, you know who's nice? And I said, who? And she
Me.
goes, Meghan Markle.
Oh.
And I go, true.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say me. You always say I'm the nice one, which I'm like,
Jaclyn.
oh,
You're not nice. You're not nice, Jaclyn. You're not.
Jaclyn, we've gotten into some trouble for being terrible before, but
Yeah.
I will just say,
I think Jaclyn likes to think she's nice, but I'm like,
No, no,
you're
no.
not nice.
That's the illusion. Actually, me and Megan were having this conversation when we were in Punta Cana.
Yeah.
I forget what it was. We were talking about the three of us. We go, who's the nicest? And we go, and someone said me, and they're like, no. Actually, correction. Jaclyn has the nicest illusion, which is actually maybe even more unkind.
well, no, you can be nice, but you can also throw down. Like, that's the thing. I have no problem with nice people at
Throw
all. At all. But at the end of the day, like,
I know what you're
my
saying.
friends are very exciting.
Interesting.
And
Not
you know,
boring.
we have all these crazy stories, like punching each other in the face and like,
But I think that's why we have haters, because it's like when you're nice and you're boring, then no one has anything to hate about you. I think when people are like slightly outgoing or like have something to say, nobody likes that. Nobody likes someone with an opinion.
I think whenever anyone is talking about something, whether it's controversial or not, but whenever someone is strong and opinionated, people who disagree or think
yeah,
the opposite way, then it gives an easy point to go against someone.
totally.
Whereas when people are kind and neutral, which I felt like honestly for a while growing up, I felt like I had to be that way. Like I didn't want to say my opinion because I just wanted everyone to be happy, or I wanted everyone to be okay. But that is, again, giving an opinion by not having an opinion.
yeah.
But then again, maybe nobody is mad at you or you don't have negative comments, but then you also don't have an opinion. So you have to pick what you want.
It's
Yeah,
a
I
tricky
think-
landscape. Yeah, no, go
Yeah.
ahead, Tar.
No, I was just going to say, I think it reads better always to have no opinion and sit there quietly and twiddle your thumbs. Always. Like, because then you're not
Yeah.
raising any flags. But I'll just say, personally, I actually, like, I can't. I wish I could. Like, my blood boils. I'm like, nope, gonna have to dive right in here and add my fucking 2 cents to this conversation. I think that's also in some ways can be a flaw, but I also think usually it's not a flaw because I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'd rather not be quiet.
It's tricky too because there's so little like charity given in any kind of like conversation where you're not having like a one-on-one with somebody. Like I feel like if you were to have a conversation with like a friend or even somebody that's not a friend, but you're having it one-on-one and you kind of like talk out your opinions or your points, like there is room to understand where the other person is coming from. But when you're sort of having that conversation at like a faceless abyss,
Yeah.
you know, it's so easy to just like take those words at face value and not really interpret them in, you know, the way that people mean. And maybe that's on the speaker that they're not saying exactly what they mean to say, but it's also just like, you know, it's kind of a flawed system. A lot of people.
That's what me and Tor talk about all the time, especially when we talk about cancel culture. And I'd actually be interested to hear your thoughts because I know you do work more in the music industry now, and that's something that a lot of music artists deal with like having social media and tweeting something or maybe being misunderstood. And in some ways, it's a double-edged sword. There's the pros because yes, these people are being held accountable for what they're saying and their actions. But then also on the flip side, so many people are so quick to jump on the bandwagon and say, cancel this person. They said this, and they pull something out of context that obviously reads wrong. And of course, it's situational. There's some points where I'm like, I totally agree. That person should be held accountable. There's other times where it's like, whoa, I think you need to hear them out more because they're not being understood clearly. And we are society now so much quicker to be like, they said this, so that must mean they mean this. And like, they jump to all these conclusions without actually, again, having that conversation, which you would have in real life with a friend or have a discussion. It's just an immediate, like, they're done, moving on, forget about them, you know?
Well, I mean, there's a reason that like, and this sounds like a way out, but there's like a reason that things like publicists and stuff exist, just because you're not having a conversation with a one-on-one person. Like you are, I think it is not okay for people that are in the spotlight to not have an opinion. Like, I think if you're given that platform, like you should absolutely use that platform to do good. But again, like what is my impression of good and what is somebody else's impression of
Sure,
good.
it's all subjective.
It is. And I mean, you'd think that there's like a moral code, but there are so many different backgrounds of life, and that I just think that there are reasons that like things like publicists exist so that they can more eloquently tell you how to say the things you mean to say without like destroying your career. And again, like, not to say that that's like the only thing that matters, but like if you want to keep doing good, you want to keep this platform and you want to keep being able to.
I feel like Taylor Swift is such a phenomenal example of that, because she was so PG for so long and just wanted to say the right things, but was basically doing what Jaclyn was talking about earlier, which is having no opinion in everything, which is, that's infuriating to me. It's like, I would rather you take a stance and fight for something you give a shit about than say nothing at all. Like, I just think people that say nothing are weak-spirited, because I'm like, you have a voice, share your opinion. No one is going to come after you for having an opinion. I mean, Taylor Swift, maybe she had a huge audience. It was
well, that's the thing. I
herself.
understand where Taylor's coming from. Like,
Well,
I get why she was
sheltering
so hesitant.
herself.
Yeah.
And to be
especially
fair,
talking politics.
And to be fair, at her age, I respect why she did it the way she did. But I will say, after watching her documentary, I think it became very, very clear that there were outside and external sources keeping her from sharing her opinion, not her own joy to share that. Because I think as soon as it got to the point where she was like, Donald Trump is going to be president,
even her dad was against her speaking about it.
Like, all these people, all these people want to protect her. And it's like, okay, to a certain extent, protection is nice, but it's not going to get you anywhere.
No.
And the people that are protected and guarded and aren't saying what they need to say to make a difference are not getting further. And not to say that what she did was like a political move at all, but thank God she finally said something, because people look at, especially people in, this is what we do with artists all the time.
And that's the thing. She was talking to an audience that absolutely needed to hear her opinion on everything. Like, I think it was almost irresponsible how late in the game it came. But I do say I fully respect that she took her time and that she ended up sharing her opinions, because I think it was really powerful when she finally came out about it. But I mean, it's just wild. It's like, you have that level of influence.
There is this, actually, this is a good question for you guys. Do you think with a certain level of influence, if you have a huge fan base or a huge following, do you think it is a social responsibility to make statements, whether it be political, controversial things? Like, do you think it's social responsibility? I do believe it is.
Okay.
If you have a huge influential audience.
So I have a music background. I wanted to sing and be at the forefront of music my entire life growing up. And my only motivation from doing that then was to be in music. So I can understand how people kind of get into it and just want to do what they want to do. But I have to say, as somebody that's now like worked in the music industry and like just ingested entertainment as everyone else has, if you're going to be kind of propelled to that level of stardom, I think you do have a level of responsibility. And like, you have so many people that are following you and that are, looking up to you. Like, I think it is only right to try and do good by those people.
Well, that's my argument too. Like, when I hear some people come back, and the thing is, I get it. I definitely have empathy, because I felt that way just in my personal life. It's like, oh, I don't want to upset people. Like, I'm just gonna like be more like timid about that type of stuff. So I can relate to it. I understand it. But I've heard artists' argument being, well, I'm just here to sing. I'm here because I sing, not because I make these political statements. And my rebuttal to that is, well, if you're just here to sing, if singing is all you want to do, you can go and sing in your shower and sing to yourself. You've chosen to sing in front of an audience, and that is a part of your career. And because you have that audience, then that becomes your social responsibility to be responsible with what you're sharing.
And why would you not use your platform for the better? Like,
why not? Exactly.
If you only are here for the music and you're very uncomfortable by the limelight and everything that comes along with it, go be a songwriter. Like, go be somebody that's writing music for major artists that can then do that for you.
I will say though, I think, and not that this should be the case, because I completely agree with what you're saying, Jack, and I think that people need to feel responsible for, especially someone at a Taylor level where you're influencing truly millions of people. Like, yes, please speak out and like send a positive message. But I do think there's certain artists that, and not that, oh, I'm just here for the music, but it sounds bad, but it's like, maybe that's just not where their education lays. Like maybe they don't speak about it because they don't feel sure about their opinion, or maybe they don't, like, I feel like there's kind of loopholes in the sense of, and I don't know who a good example would be, like maybe like a Billie Eilish, like someone who's young, but like she's not out here trying to like spew political comments, even though she has obviously a massive following. That's not to say she's not socially responsible, because I think she should obviously share a positive message. But I also think maybe at her age and maybe what she's gone through in her life, she's not at a place where she's sitting there saying, hey, I know this about politics and I wanted to share this with you guys.
I completely agree that. I think people, if they're going to be spewing their opinions, it can't just be an opinion. I think there is a responsibility to have educate and should be sharing educated opinions.
Yeah.
And I agree. I don't think everyone needs to comment about everything, especially if they have no background. I agree. If they don't have any education,
like I almost prefer if they choose one thing they care about to then make that the passion. Like, and maybe for now Taylor, it's a politics, but then maybe for Billie, it would be like helping young musicians, like
I've seen her talk a lot actually about like animal agriculture. Because she's someone who is vegan, and she talks about that all the time actually.
Right. So it's like you've already now chosen something you love and you're already spreading that positive message. So I feel like really the tip here is, yes, you should be socially responsible. No, it doesn't have to be about every topic that's controversial. You can just choose something you're passionate about to like, do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's a lot to put on famous people to be like, be better, like speak on everything.
No, but I agree. There's actually a really interesting, something that I can actually relate that to in terms of like celebrity or artists. And okay, you talk about one cause and everyone else expects you to have an opinion about something else. Yeah. Something that I actually really admire, you guys know I like generally just love Harry Styles, but something I find interesting is that he doesn't necessarily post or tweet about every single situation. Like, of course, when there's like, I don't even know how to necessarily word this properly. When there's like major big life events, even about this whole like coronavirus situation, he's been making shirts, stay home, like whatever, doing things that he believes are impactful. But he's not someone that every day when there's a tragedy, he's there tweeting out the hashtag and doing that every single day. He chooses very intentionally what he like pushes out to the world. And I've actually always really admired that. Again, it's the deliberate choices actually has more power and is more impactful because he's not just hopping on the bandwagon of every single statement or whatever trending topic it is. He like is very deliberate with what he chooses to promote and put his like little army behind, you know?
Yeah, well, like you have to, bottom line, like I think you have to be authentic with what you're putting out there, because if you're just putting on a shtick, like, yeah, bottom line, artists should not be politicians. Like that's not what the goal is.
Totally.
The goal is to have people that are, getting fame and are able to use their art to make a difference. And maybe their difference is not in one particular thing. Maybe it is like a Miley Cyrus in animal rights, and it is an LGBTQ equality. You know what I mean? It's right. Maybe it's, I think that what you experience the most should be your platform.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be speaking on the other things. And if Taylor Swift did not feel that she was ready to be speaking about those things, or maybe she wasn't even voting yet, do you know what I mean? Then that's not a place for her to jump in. Yeah. But she's all about like, women's equality, and seeing her step into that platform and having such a, like, just like a rockin' base to stand on, like that makes a difference.
I think also what's so crazy is her audience is so large and is so like influenced in the sense that they're the millennials. Like we're online, like that's who her core audience is. And I think, watching the documentary, it was very insightful in the sense that they truly thought that her coming out about her political views would have a direct, measurable negative impact on her career. And I think that also speaks to the way we see women specifically in the music industry. Because if you talked about, like, give me like, fine, a Harry Styles would be a good example, someone that's on her level but is a male. You're telling me that if Harry Styles came out with his political views, that someone in his team would be like, oh no, that's going to affect your concert sales, we can't do that. I guarantee that conversation would never be had. It would be Harry making his own decision and putting it out there. I think already there's so many layers to this. It's like we're looking at, first of all, obviously a successful person with influence, but then we're looking at a woman with influence, and then we're looking at a woman speaking to middle America with influence. Like it just, the layers get deeper and deeper and deeper. And I feel like there's so much inequality already at the, like even just at that bare level, like whether it's the male and the woman in the same position. And I don't know, I find it so intriguing that these, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I really understand why it took her so long. Like now that I'm really thinking about it,
of course,
like it just makes sense. It's like she of course had all this pressure from other people that it was going to be this negative feedback. And
I also think the times are changing, and actually this kind of leads me into a question that I wanted to ask you, KENZ, because I feel like even what it means to be an artist. When was the whole Dixie Chick scandal?
Oh
like
my gosh,
15 years ago, 20 years ago?
Probably.
Am I making up my timeline?
No, it would have been like maybe
it would be longer.
Like 15, 20?
Longer than 10. For sure.
I'm not ready to make nice. Like,
hey, let's see.
2008?
Hey Siri. Hey Siri. David Dobrik did this.
No.
It had to be earlier than 2008. I was thinking
it was definitely
Star.
2000, maybe 5.
Okay, somewhere
Hey,
around
Siri.
there. But even think of a time like that changing to
Scandal.
Pardon?
Here's what I found.
I'm just looking at the year.
2004?
Backlash begins. Let's see.
Look at us.
2003.
Okay. Yeah. But even think, so the difference of even a time like that where they made a political statement and got immediate backlash, like the whole world hated them. And because that was at a time when everyone said, shut up and sing. You're just there to sing. You're here to entertain. You can't have opinions. Whereas now as an artist, the responsibility has shifted. It's you're not just an artist. You also have power because you can connect directly to your fans. You can wake up in the middle of the night, think something, and share that to the entire world. There's so much more pressure, I guess, in that sense, because like what you're saying, even with a publicist, you don't have to go through any filters. They can immediately say whatever they want, ruin their career in 1 second if they want to. Do you see that is changing? I know you work with more like legacy, maybe older generation artists. Do you see that major difference between the young gen and the kind of older gen of the responsibility and I don't want to say the entitlement, but that they feel like they can speak out?
It's interesting because yes and no. Like, yes, I work with the legacy artists. So like I'm working with like the Led Zeppelins or like the Fleetwood Macs or the, the Eagles, right? But we've seen examples of this type of like public persona forever. Like when, you know what I mean? Like, the Beatles obviously rocked the boat a lot when they said that at that time they were bigger than Jesus. And there have been plenty of opinions from artists since then that have,
it's like the Kanyes. It's literally the Kanyes of the world. Like that's just who it is.
But even like Madonna at her time making religious statements or
crazy.
Super controversial.
Burning crosses. Exactly.
So this has been around forever. Art is meant to stir. But what I will say is the difference between like, with your example, like when the Dixie Chicks came out and made their political statement, and what artists are doing now is social media. Like
that's like literally this was nearly 20 years ago, and a lot of the photos, I mean, I'm going back like years now, sitting in university learning, like I'm like trying to recall, but aren't there literal photos of them holding signs? Like it's very powerful. It's very different. It's not a social media post standing with random quotes saying how they feel. It was very powerful. It was them standing in front of everyone saying, this is what we care about. This is what we're standing for. Like it was intense. I guess that's the word.
And as a result, they were banned from radio stations and they were banned from, charting. And,
that's what I'm saying. How can a Taylor Swift not be scared when she grew up and saw it happen?
For sure.
You're absolutely right. But I guess what I just have to say is like, I guess the positive side is that you've got the people on your side now. Like there are people now that are going to say like, no, this opinion is absolutely correct. And Taylor is not wrong for expressing this particular thought or name any artist. You know what I mean? There are people that are going to sit there and be like, that's exactly how I feel. You're not going to squash her. Like cancel culture has been going on forever, but it was able to be done so much more effectively before when there wasn't social media, because you literally just end their career by ending distribution and by banning them on radio stations.
Mhm.
Whereas now it's like, okay, fine.
Well, every artist
even
has a
there's-
voice. You can
Totally.
you could end all the distribution and you could end those streams where the music is flowing, but what you can now no longer stop, which I think is the power of where we're heading, is that no matter what, even if everything ended, you can still share your, like, it's Jack, it's what you say every day. Everyone has the option to upload. Everyone has the option to share. Like, there's
we're
no
exposed to such a diverse group of perspectives and opinions. So if, sure, a majority people have thought, that's the Dixie Chicks, that's so crazy, I hate them for saying that. Sure, maybe majority of this, so everyone went along with it. But there was still probably a small group that was like, hell yeah, that needed to be said. But no one can hear them because everyone else is 10 times louder. Whereas on social media, now they have the power for those opinions to be seen by other people.
And especially in that time, like, okay, fine. Like the people that were backing the president, you're backing the president. Like who is more powerful than that? Whereas now it's like you've got all these outlets and you've got all these different ways to kind of get your stuff out there. And it's, I don't know. I just like, obviously you're going to rock the boat no matter what you say, but at least you can do it a little bit more, I not to say publicly, but kind of like you can share your opinion.
It's actually so fast. I never thought about it that way, KENZ. Like the fact that cancel culture was way more effective in years past prior to social media, because you legitimately would be, nope, you're not taking that meeting. Nope, you're not on that radio. You're not, like fully over. Whereas we can self-distribute these days.
100%. Or like, I mean, this is totally not even related to what we're saying, but just like JoJo taking back her power, you know, like her record label not being able,
the Keshas of the world too.
Yeah,
not
there's so many good examples.
Or choosing their narrative and then being like, absolutely not. I'm re-recording all of the stuff that is mine from.
And the thing that makes me sad, again, not to come back to it, but it's like, why does every conversation end with always the women in this position? We've not once mentioned a man in the music industry. And I know KENZ and I are very like aware of this because we've studied it. We literally took music in, like, this is like a part of what we've studied and it's what we're passionate about, and more even KENZ than me, but we've gone through it. And I feel like something about this disconnect about women in the music industry, there is something about it that is so inherently backwards in the way that it's happened for the last, how can we even say, 80, 100 years? Like, what is even the word? Forever. It's endless. There's no timeline.
I'm curious, KENZ, how you feel. Obviously you work on the back end. You're not, I mean, actually you kind of work on both ends because you still perform and you sing. Like, how do you feel as a woman in this industry and in the music world?
I mean, I have to say, like, as an employee, like working for a major music label, I think now is like the time to get in. Like, I've never felt any, and this is just my opinion, like, I'm sure there are many people that have felt like discriminated against trying to get in, but it's very, very competitive and it's super hard to get into a major label. And I never felt like I was looked at less for being like a woman. I will say, like, you're going to work with people everywhere that you go that think that you're not qualified enough and that think that you're just like new and like don't know what you're doing. But I mean, when I interviewed for my current position, I felt very confident throughout my whole interview process. And when I came in, I felt like very accepted. My boss is awesome. He'll like school people if he thinks that they're mansplaining me, which is really cool to see.
Yeah.
You know, there are people in power that are like really actively doing the right thing.
You're right. We need to take a positive spin on all of this because you really have had such a...
There is progress.
There is progress, and I think you've had such a phenomenal experience in the music industry. And what's so crazy is I remember literally having that lunch with you when you were like, I guess had just come from the interview, like either the day before, maybe 2 days before. And it was just the two of us at the lunch, and you were recalling your interview, but at this point you didn't know you had the job. Yeah. And she was like, yes, I know every musician ever, and they asked me a question about someone and I just like was so flabbergasted. Like, do you remember telling me the story? And you were
wait, what was it? I haven't heard this.
No. This was not the interview for my current job. This was an interview
for a different job?
For a different music job. But you know what? I just like, it's super
you're right. You FaceTimed me after the one that you have and we had a good chat, and you're right. It was a different job.
But it was brutal because I went into this interview, and again, like, I've done music since I can remember, been in some sort of music lesson since I was at least 4 or 5. And I go into this interview and they like ask me this question and I was just like, no.
No idea.
No.
Absolutely
it's like
not.
an exam, but it's almost worse because you don't have time to think about it because someone's looking at you.
But I will say that I was fully interviewing, just trying to get into the music industry. And at this point I was interviewing for this company that did a lot of like EDM shows. And like, you guys know me, I
Not
love
your vibe.
music. That's not my vibe, like
Yeah.
not at all. And I wasn't about to, I maybe should have pretended, but I couldn't.
Right.
And they knew that about me instantly.
I think that's much better. You don't want to end up somewhere just because you're better at faking it than someone else.
No, and then when I went into my job interview for the job that I currently have, I went in like the most passionate I've ever been, knowing a lot about the industry, knowing a lot about the artists that I would then end up working with, and they could tell. So
it's so weird too because I think it's a very empty piece of advice that I think a lot of people don't take, is that in an interview, if you genuinely come across as 1, interested, 2, passionate, 3, literally care to learn, like you're immediately at the top of the list. And I think everyone thinks they have to have the perfect answer or the most composed, eloquent response to some marketing pitch. It's like, that's just not the reality. If you care and you're speaking English and you're responding properly and they can interact with you, like that's who's getting the job. Like that's just it.
Well, I think it's like, it comes back to heart. And this, I can even relate to, I don't even know if I've shared this in the podcast before, but I recently hired a video editor and I probably had 100 applicants, and reading through all the different applications. And sure, there was probably people that were more proficient with the editing software and had more actual experience, which maybe technically on paper would have made the most sense to go in that direction. But after talking with different people, I immediately knew the person that I was going to hire because she was 1, willing to learn, 2, passionate, 3, actually cared, and I could tell
something about caring.
And that's the thing, it's the heart. I believe that any skill is teachable. And of course, she had a foundation of skills and had some experience, maybe not the proper qualifications or everything that would have been ideal on paper for that job. But again, it's a human feeling, and that's what all of life is. I believe every job, every relationship, there is like that human connection to it. And if she didn't have the heart, she wouldn't have got, and it's the same thing with like, and not
people
to discredit
so caught up. No, it's true. It's like people
get not to discredit people's qualifications. People are hired because they are qualified, but also
for sure.
What is the extra edge?
It goes both ways. And I think there's levels to it, right? It's like, okay, let's say bare minimum, let's say a job says you must have an undergrad. Fine. That gets, let's say, 10,000 people in a door. They all have an undergrad. They all are coming from someplace. They're like, this is what I've studied. Then it goes, okay, who has a program that's relevant? Okay, so let's now take the 500 that have the relevant program of things you've learned. Like, let's say this is new hire, like people fresh coming out of school. So, okay, now you have 500 people. I, as someone that was like entry level at a company, marketing company, was the person that a boss came up to me and legitimately said, go through these resumes and let me know what stands out to you. Like, sometimes it's not even the boss looking at it. It could be someone that's just come into the company and they're just saying, hey, what interests you? Like, what person here is relevant to you? And I've sat there going through cover letters. I've sat there going through different resumes, and it's always the person that is like short. First of all, stop writing these long-winded.
Oh my God, I thought you meant like a height requirement. I was like, Torri.
That's why we got the gig.
No, absolutely not.
Short girls unite.
So 5'2" and under.
I mean short in the sense of well-written, but also very concise.
Exactly.
Like,
I agree.
just not wasting people's
Don't waste my time.
Yeah.
Totally.
So like, time is money. Like, no one is reading your literal novel. Thank you so much. So I feel like that's number 1.
The best advice that I ever heard is, don't tell me what you do. Don't tell me everything about you. Tell me what you can do for me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I know you do this. I can make your life easier because of X, Y, Z. Don't tell me about all of your experience. I don't give a crap if you did this, if this was your past job. Tell me what you can do for me.
It's so true. People 100% do not care what you have done. It is this is it. This is literally the money from Poddy Talk. It is the value add for the person that is trying to hire you. What value are you adding to their life? That's it. Yeah. That's literally it. People are so selfish. Like, they're not sitting there being like, no one cares. Anyways, I
Yeah.
don't know why we got into the job interview, but I'm just saying, people listening, like, stop writing essays, and also be concise, and also just care. That's literally it. Just
True.
give a
Just
shit.
like literally be yourself. Also, for a second, Tori, I thought you were gonna give some math formula, and I was like, I'm not here for this. I can't do that.
Here is the secret formula.
I would never give a math formula.
I'm
but
scared.
I will say,
Opening sentence can only have 6 words maximum. Then
No.
add a.
I'm like,
I mean, no,
It's true.
It's something about that world, and it's true. It's like you just went through your first hire and immediately you're drawn to the person. It has nothing to do with, of course, she needs the bare minimum skills, but it always has to do with like who that person is, who they're presenting themselves is in terms of passion and what they can add to your project and your editing life and like all of that.
I believe a lot of life is stroking other people's egos, and
that is business. That's just business. Yeah,
totally. Like that is the skill set within itself. If you can master that, you can probably get into any door that you need to get into.
Also, like a bit of like exciting, I guess, just or like encouraging words for young creatives. It's like a lot of the people that are working in established like labels or companies that have been around for a long time have been with that business for a very long time. And the general consensus that I've seen amongst all of them is that they're looking for fresh young talent with fresh new minds that can mold to like how business is done, but bring totally new ideas.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to get into places sometimes, but they're like, they really value your opinion once you're there.
I agree. My sister also, and I won't say where she works because I don't think that's relevant, but she started at a company after finishing her master's and is already now promoted and is like thriving. And I feel it's because, and she said this to me, I mean, clearly we're very similar, came from the same cloth. And she's like, I share every opinion at every meeting. And she's like, you would be shocked to know that people will sit in meetings and say nothing or share nothing. And that's not good or bad. Like, I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm just saying it takes a lot of chutzpah to care and to share an opinion and to be loud about it because people are scared. People don't want to be loud about their opinions. And like huge hats off to her because she's like, I'll sit there in massive board meetings that I literally should not even be in. And something will be said that I don't agree with, whether that's because of like my millennial spirit or because of how I know that, you know, my customers function, whatever the intuition that kicks in is. She's like, I will always put up my hand and speak. She's like, I won't stop myself. I won't quiet myself. And she's like, I'm not at a position or level that I should be loud, but I think you can only become louder if you care to be loud in the first place. And that, I know that's kind of backwards, but it's like,
it's so true, but you need to be passionate about it, what it is that you're talking about, because I don't think it serves your purpose to be loud and not like
kicking and screaming for no reason.
Pulse, right?
Sure.
Like
no. Oh, I don't mean that she's doing that. No,
I know she's not, obviously, but I think that's like very important to differentiate, right? Like
audiences,
get into the industry that like suits you and that you can speak to and like knowledgeably, because then when like you should have opinions because your heart is there. And then when your heart is there, you're inclined to speak up anyway.
That's what I mean. It should almost feel intuitive. I know that's a bad thing to say. It should feel very, it's like if someone says something that feels wrong, you should feel the intuition to say, oh wait, sorry, that feels a bit. And again, none of this is to say that it should be like a hostile, like, it's it's more just, I don't know what it is. And again, maybe this is a female thing. Women are afraid to be loud, not loud. I shouldn't even say the word loud. Women are afraid to potentially share how they're feeling about a situation and potentially exactly sway or rock the boat of other corporate partners. And I've seen it happen time and time again.
Fuck that.
I'm actually curious, KENZ. I mean, I think working in the music industry is just an intimidating industry within itself, let alone getting your dream job at a huge music label here in Canada. What was it like navigating your first week, your nerves, the excitement? How do you channel that? And how do you find the inner confidence to do what you know you're able to do and accomplish, but without letting all those nerves get in the way, especially when you're just starting out?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it was super intimidating for sure. Like, I'm not like a shy person. I'm not somebody that gets easily intimidated by others, but you walk into a place where some people have been there for over 40 years and it's hard not to just feel every eye on you. Do you know what I mean? Now, I think I remember telling myself at that time, I was not to say distracted, but I was finishing up my bartending gig because they still needed me at night. And I was transitioning out of my other job that I had. I was still training somebody. So I had a lot going on at that time. I couldn't even stop. Remember? And like my motto was just like,
for you.
My motto was like, one day at a time, 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 week at a time. Get through this week and you're on to the next one. So I didn't even have like truly time to think about how am I being perceived at this job.
Yeah.
I just went in and was like, I think a lot of people feel this way when they start their like first job that's like truly, truly, truly their dream gig. You feel a little bit out of place. And for me, it was just like ingest absolutely everything that you can.
Yeah.
And learn as much as you can and go home and come back and remember it. And then where you can and where it's relevant, give some opinions, give some ideas. Like I'm lucky to work in a creative industry where I can share artistic ideas.
Yeah.
And that's so fun, right?
Exactly. How lucky are we to work in creative industries that are fulfilling?
I've never loved a job more than I love working at Warner. Like it's just how it is.
I wasn't sure if you were going to expose. That's why I didn't purposely expose
same.
where you work. But that's cool.
Juicy.
She works at Warner Music, guys. So it's hot shit. So don't worry.
Hot shit.
I have a question though. That's okay. You're not done. Please continue. I have more questions.
Give me another, but just long story short, just like go in, be ready to learn and be ready to teach, because you don't want to go in. Like I've seen so many people go in just like feeling like they know everything, but like you don't know everything. Go in ready to learn and then like bring some cool ideas to the table, because people love those that want to collaborate.
Right.
And I mean, I've been there for like a year now, and I think I fostered just like an incredible work environment where I'm not afraid to pitch crazy ideas to absolutely anybody that I work with.
Yeah.
And you've been given way more responsibility than your job even outlines. And that just shows how much people respect you and what you've been given to them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love it. So,
insanely.
yeah.
And it's also like you're so insanely good at, in my opinion, which is the most important thing for anyone ever, is dropping the ego at the door and going in to be the best collaborator, which I feel like you've brought to everything, whether that's a group project in university or literally in the most insane pitch for like the newest artist. So you know what I mean? Like I think it's amazing that you can do that. And I think that speaks to who you are as a person. And that segues into my next question, which brings you to where you are today. But I want to rewind, because I've known you a long time, and I know I feel like this podcast had us angry with Taylor, and then it had us spewing the best things about the creative industries. And I want to create a very realistic picture. And I feel like you're such a great example of this, because both you and I was not accepted to my university of choice and did not go to it. And that was heartbreaking. And I had to repave the path. You got into the university of your choice, spent years there, so many years there, to the point that you could have finished a degree and didn't, and moved in a completely different direction, which ended up introducing us as humans. Can you speak to that? Because I feel like this is very relevant to people going through university. I get a lot of questions about university. I would just love to know.
Are you guys hearing this audio?
No,
I hear fine.
Oh my God. Wait, sorry. That's coming through on my computer. Oh my God.
What's happening?
Oh my God. That's so funny. So it's Survivor Wednesday for anyone watching. And I had Bell 5 TV, so I had hit play because I can't record the episodes. So I had to like start it and pause it so that way I could watch it later tonight. I wouldn't like lose it. But I guess I've hit like the 2-hour time limit, so it just started automatically playing. So I'm hearing these like tribal noises and like Survivor. Literally, I'm like, so what's happening? I'm getting some interference.
Interference.
The tribe, your tribe has spoken. Okay.
No, don't apologize. Don't apologize. All of this to say, I think it's relevant to share, like, what was that experience like? You were, I know, third year in to your musical theater program. And then basically had the hard decision of saying, I'm not fit to perform. I don't want to do this. I'm moving in a new direction. And then went to the creative industries program where obviously we met. What did that mean to your career? What did that mean to you as a person? I feel like it's very relevant because obviously our listeners are aged 16 to 25, people going through the university time. It's like, they'd love to know.
I have to say, like, that was the most emotional time of my probably like entire life. Like that was, you grow up thinking that you are one thing and you're told your entire life that you're one thing. And I grew up singing and dancing and acting and being in musicals and like getting lead roles and just like being told time and time and time again, like, this is your path, like, this is what you should go do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, growing up, like, I just loved music so much, and I loved it as a hobby that I was like, oh my God, yes, you're right. Yeah. This is what I should do. And I got into like the best school to do it. And, you know, for so long, I just considered myself so lucky. And it's so crazy to like even try to describe like the identity shift that I felt when I was there, going from like literally the one thing that you were known to do to realizing like in your soul that it is not what you want to do or that it's not right.
Yeah.
Like trying to explain that to my parents who like saw me through every lesson and you know what I mean? Like
it's so a
knew
part
me.
of your identity. Like it's so
so tied.
Yeah.
I can't even like, I mean, Tor, I know you've talked about like what it was like to experience that heartbreak with NYU and just like,
oh, there's never been a bigger heartbreak. I'll say it again. I was so fucking heartbroken. Like I've never experienced something. There's something about a career. I don't know, not even a career. There's something about like a passion.
An idea.
Yes. An idea of a passion that sits way deeper than a person ever will. Cause that's in your, that's in your soul. You're just living with that. You're like, that's my future.
Well, it's also just like solely you feel like it's your responsibility. You're like, I am the reason. It's like not where you can attach it with someone else. Like, oh, it's a 50-50 thing. It's like, this is fully a you thing.
It is
like,
the vision. Like you are Raven Simone having a vision saying this is my future. And I think when that doesn't happen, when your soul is set on that, I agree. And I actually think I will be as loud to say that I don't think I will ever have a bigger heartbreak in my life than that, because it's when you're so set on something that did me so dirty. I was just distraught.
Like when I realized that like it was a number of things that kind of came together and like a number of like sort of funny situations. Like I broke both my feet while at school for singing, dancing, and acting. Sis, I know.
Throw that in there. Jaclyn's clearly not listening because that is too funny to
Sorry, I just missed some. Sorry, can I hear that one more time?
Yeah,
I said just like there were a series. I broke both my feet. Like there was just like a series of situations.
She was
that
in
put
the
me in this
wheelchair
spot.
The wheelchair. I've seen those images of you.
Gang, I will re-share an
again,
image of me
Torri, add to the inserts. Ken in a wheelchair.
No, there's like full-on memes flying in a shark.
I've seen.
It, but you know what? I mean, it was at that time, like, I'm such like a silly person, and like, I take things seriously, but I'm the first one to crack a joke. And in that time, like
KENZ, I know we are the first ones to crack a joke when we shouldn't.
We've been in some trouble.
Oh, I forgot about that night.
We'll tell that after. But just like, I'm the first one to like go with everybody and like make a joke about it and make light of the situation. But like on the inside, I was like struggling so hard to like figure out my identity and figure out why I was having this like crazy identity shift. And like I've never quit anything in my life. Like I've never quit anything. I've never quit lessons. Like I've never quit anything.
Too.
And it
usually speaks to someone's like spirit, right? It's like you're usually someone that has always quit, and I'm not going to name names. I have examples of friends. It's like people that quit things always quit things. That's just it. It's
I don't think that is dropping out of a program though. It's quitting. I think
that's what I'm saying. That's what
I know, but it felt like you're so right. But for somebody that had never quit anything in their lives,
that's huge.
Like dropping out of like the most like prestigious musical theater program in Canada, just like, what the hell am I doing?
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Anyways, I just have to say there was like a small bit of time where I truly don't remember bits and pieces of those years because I was just in such a dark place.
Yeah.
But I knew, like, it's so sad, but like I knew like in my heart of hearts that like I was not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I knew 1,000% that like my passion was not there.
Yeah.
And I took one single semester off, like literally one semester. And I worked and I looked into what was available to me. And at that time I was singing with a bunch of bands and I was playing with like a bunch of like original music. And I was like, I love what I do, but I love this particular aspect of it. And these two other elements, this acting and dancing thing, don't feel like authentic to me. And it was really hard. Like telling my parents that I wanted to leave a program that was like so hard to get into was like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
But I did it, and eventually like they saw how like torn up I was, and then getting into creative industries and like majoring in the business of music, I have to like tour, like, yeah, there's all these funny stories about me being late or like being like a total shit.
No,
but
we loved the program. No, this is
But
what's
I was a
actually
shit.
so funny about this. To be totally, though, transparent and fair, it's like, I think we like to paint the picture. And to be fair, we had a great time in university. We had fun.
Yeah.
We had such a good balance. But
Yeah.
I will say, we were the first ones to show up for class, the first ones to be at any
No,
group.
you
like,
guys have the definition of work hard, play
hands
hard.
up
graduated
every time.
4.0s. Like, don't mistaken our fun for the fact that we didn't care, because it's actually, I've seen videos of many like bloggers, vloggers, Instagrammers, whoever you want to say, of people talking about their time in university, and they're like, oh yeah, well, I barely got by. Like, I got the degree, I did my thing. I actually like full-heartedly disagree with that. I put in so much effort. I skipped so many things. I said no to so many things because and both of us felt this way. Like, we cared so much. I remember even the night that we were writing our thesis, I think Jaclyn was at my house. We had come from a Raptors game. Like, you were living your best life. You had a bit of white wine, and I was like, I'm gonna drink water. Like, here I am.
I think I left you. I think I went out that night.
You did. You went out.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I finished my thesis. Like, I think people don't see that if you actually care, you have to make the sacrifice. And I guess that's the difference.
And I hate the narrative that it's always like one or the other, because I've always felt the same way too. And yeah, it's like the work hard, play hard. I know how to have fun, but I also know how to work my ass off. And there's a way to marry the two together.
They're really
like and that's also, I feel like, the formula to life. Like, I want to be living my best life and experiencing, you know, all the fruits of my labor. Like I work hard so I can be having fun. But you need to
I think I wrote the code for that message. Like, I feel like I embody that in the most insane way. Like,
totally.
I have always been such a work hard, play hard girl. That is just it. And I feel like it's hard for people to find that balance. And I think that's usually an internal insecurity. Like, really, I do believe that. It's like, if you can't find that balance between friendship and work and what that looks like, that's you going through something. That's no one else. Like, you need to be able to decide what those priorities are.
It's so, so true. And like, one of my references for my current job was our marketing professor. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you make what you will of that program. And I just have to say, like, any creative that is like interested in like learning the business side of things, but also really wants to be creative, some people are going to get a lot out of like a creative forward program. And I did for a time. But if you feel secure in that, I have to say, and like, this is just my experience, but I think it's valid because I did both. Go for the program that teaches you about the business side of things, because if you are able to do those creative things on the side and continue to perfect your craft, but learn how to make it like,
sorry,
long day. Yeah, like, learn how to make it in that industry. Like, you will see the value in those classes.
I agree. I also think, like, to add on to what I said, because maybe it comes across like blunt or misunderstood, which I don't mean to be. I would like to add that so many of my opportunities, I do mean this so genuinely, like, this is not even a word of a lie. So many of my opportunities and like places of growth in my career came from a personal connection that had nothing to do with what I did as a professional and everything to do with what I did as a person.
Yeah.
And that might sound backwards, but what that really means is people can come across very one-dimensional and very professional, which is great. Like, do that. I understand that. But the flip to that is so many moments of growth that I've personally experienced, or moments of like partnership or moments of success, actually came from people getting to know me as a human, from social either excursions or connecting or mutual friends or whatever that might look like. And I feel like I've always been a huge advocate of that, because
the art of the schmooze.
Well, I actually disagree. I actually don't even think it's a schmooze. Like, I'm such a social butterfly that I literally just truly enjoy that connection with humans. To me, it comes down to like,
I agree.
humans. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like me having a glass of wine with like this random person, and then they happen to work X, like, and I like, you can come across that in the most genuine way. Like, KENZ, you can attest this. I've sat at bars and become friends with the most random of people. Like, but you have to care. You have to care. It's like, I will sit there. I am the girl, and KENZ, I know of all the humans can attest to this, will sit at a bar alone, order dinner, chat with everyone around me, make friends, get drinks with the people around. Like, you have to literally care and put in the effort and be that social butterfly, and like, just do that if you want to do it that way. I'm not saying that's the only way to do it at all, because everyone's going to do it in a different way. But I'm just saying, I think people are maybe sometimes afraid to be like, oh, let's go for a drink or grab a coffee. It's like, no, I actually think that's when the best connections are made. I think that's when people are their most genuine. I think that's when people are open and willing to learn. And I don't know, hey, me rolling up to any bar in New York City alone to make a friend is my number one pastime in life. So maybe that's just me, but.
That's true though. Like, the art of the schmooze feels like car salesman-y.
Yeah, I agree.
That, but
making genuine connections is what's like, there's so
and by
many
happy
people,
accident, like by KENZ, this is you. It's like, every time I'm out with you, it's like, you will make a friend from no one. Someone that should not be a friend becomes a friend in the best way. Like, it's just
those women in the casino, perhaps.
Exactly.
Oh my God. I think we got them through that, Jaclyn.
No, it was actually a really sad time in their life. And we were their sounding board, and we just had to be there for them. And it's a lot, but that's, I think, what you in particular, KENZ, are so good at. You're good at being a listening ear, and you know how to read your audience, and you know when you need to light up that room and be the performer in you. But you also know when to sit there and listen and absorb.
Because people need like a friend. Do you know what I mean? As I'm pouring a goddamn glass of wine, people need like, as I should. People just like, people crave, and I think this is so relevant for right now. People crave human interaction, and they crave just like talking to somebody. And this is what I am missing the most out of being self-isolated, is just making like random connections with the people that you run into on the street.
This is our true worst nightmare. Like, we've taken the test. I can tell you 100% extroverted is what I get. Like, I think
100%.
I mean, of course, that 100% gets me into trouble, I think, in more times than I'm willing to say. But but again, being extroverted to that amount where your happiness is already so connected to the humans you're meeting. And okay, I will tell you, my extroverted self was so, today I'm fulfilled. Today I am fulfilled as an extrovert. This was stunning news, and it was an accident, and it fulfilled me as an extrovert, and he didn't even know it, which made it even better. So I went to the LCBO today. I like ventured out again, social distancing, wore my gloves. I was good. Don't worry, guys. Don't be scared. And like, I was super like hand sanitizer, did the whole thing. So went into LCBO to like do a little run to get my essentials. And LCBO, for any Americans listening, would be like a Madison
liquor store.
Yeah, there's a name for it.
Liquor store.
No, there's a name for it though. They have a Bevmo. So any Americans listening, it'd be like a Bevmo.
What?
Bevmo is the
sounds like Venmo.
No, Bev.
Venmo, yeah.
No, Bev, like a beverage.
No, we understand what you're saying.
Like a personal Venmo.
Can you hear me? Oh, we got a Bevmo.
BEV. Yep. We understood.
We got a Bevmo up in here. So thank you, Madison, for the reference. So, okay, so it's an LCBO in Canada, Bevmo in the US, whatever. I go into the store and I'm wearing my like pink Nike workout shirt because we had been
the BEVMO. She goes into the Bevmo.
I'm fucking
sorry. I just want to make this very clear for
I put a pink hat on. I put a pink hat on with my
Bob, you be quiet down there.
I feel like there's some weird connotations to that, but I'm just gonna stay out of this. So anyway,
you tried to call me Kenzie, and it autocorrected to kebab.
I said it before I noticed. I was like, "You too, kebab." Like,
God, I was wondering on my Apple Watch what that all meant. Okay,
so like, I'm back from run. What is kebab?
I'm so confused.
Read your messages.
I've had it. Okay, continue.
So guys, I go into the LCBO. I get my drinks, whatever. I go to the front. And
okay,
yeah, I see her. So I'm wearing my pink Nike shirt, like very neon pink. And then I had just happened to get this really nice new cotton sort of pink chapeau in the mail. So I put that on.
It's a toque. It's not a chapeau. I saw it.
Okay, it's a toque. So I put the toque on. So I'm very pink, right? So from head to like waist, I'm in a bright pink color. So I go up to the front, I'm checking out whatever. And the man looks at me through the glass, because now we're functioning through glass, obviously. Current times. Okay, so I'm at the glass bubble.
Bring your chapeau.
Yeah, I'm at the glass bubble wearing my chapeau. Chateau is a castle, which I also want, but I only have a chapeau. So then I'm standing there, and then, you know, it's glass now because of everything that's happening. So I don't actually get the human connection again as an extrovert that's already hurting me. Then he goes, ma'am, this is so nice of you to support Pink T-shirt Day. And I go, and I lean in. I go, yes, thank you so much. Because I didn't know what to say. And then he goes, yes, the anti-bullying campaign is just so nice, and you're wearing pink head to toe. Oh. It's just really nice. And then I go,
do you see my light and celebration of it?
Yes. I literally went, I love spreading a positive message. And then I left. And I was like, that's so cute. He gave me every energy I needed. I was like, sir, you made me feel so good. I wore this by accident. I wore the right colors. I was supporting a good cause. I felt like $100 when I left there. I was like, thank you. Like, bye. Have a good day. It was so cute.
Isn't it crazy how we're getting our human interaction these days, like in line at the LCBO?
Yeah, the LCBO guys making me feel like $1 million. It's a little weird.
So this hilarious TikTok, and it was like something about, they had like, I forget what the music was. There was a hilarious soundtrack, but basically the Quaker oatmeal on their oatmeal packages are like, by day 36, you're like pouring your oatmeal, like, oh, who's this? And like, that's how I feel right now. I'm like, I have not seen a human in so long.
Guys, our neighbors made Ross and I masks.
Aw, that's so
because they knew we didn't have any, and she took like material and made us masks.
That's so nice.
That's really sweet.
And we're gonna have hallway wine sometime this week.
You've always got a very nice community in your building. Something about it is just shocking in a great way.
I know. We've got nice people here. You've just gotta latch on to those around you, and just, you know, be kind and be smart, but be kind.
And on that message, you know, we normally end regular potty talk with roses and thorns, but since this is potty talk after dark, we like to end with one final clink of the bev.
Oh. Wow, we're not even gonna do. Okay, that's so off brand. But
I'm do a shot though.
You got. I don't have anything in front of me, so you two can.
We're obviously gonna end with the roses and shot. You can finish the shot.
This is ridiculous. You can't literally be a co-host and not have something.
Listen, we don't want to be.
No,
like,
you're such a full of shit. This is what Jaclyn kills me. You're such a liar. No,
what,
dude? You tell me you don't have something that you could take a shot with right now. Tell me.
Oh, I do, but I don't want to.
That's what I'm saying.
That doesn't matter.
That's a selfish answer. That's so selfish. Just do it.
I'm a selfish person.
You can't be selfish. We're in quarantine.
What?
You have to give for the good of others.
Thank God I have control of this edit, because I'm leaving this in. If Jaclyn doesn't get a shot, look at this is savagery.
I brought the mood lighting here. Guys, I hate to break it to you. I have another Zoom meeting, which I'm 15 minutes late for.
This is the energy. This is what I'm talking about. Are you kidding me right now? You're not kidding. Who are you Zooming after this? Tell me.
I do. I have a very professional meeting between Courtney and Maggie. It was a 9:30 Zoom, so that's why I was on my phone when I missed the comment about the legs being broken. Ankles, kneecaps. What was broken?
I don't know, but guess what?
Oh, both of my feet were broken.
Yeah. See, look at. There's been a Zoom code given.
What is it called? How do they know this is happening?
No, they don't. I told them at 9:30. I assumed we'd be done, but Potted Dog After Dark took it here.
We're after Ross just came over harassing me for hogging the bar cart for this long.
I'm silently sneaking in, trying to not make noise. You two take this way.
Yeah, no, Jaclyn, you don't even have to be a part of it. You can go join this other Zoom.
I'll just sit here in my pink lighting. Support anti-bullying.
Ew.
No, you can't say it in a passive-aggressive way. My whole thing is that I was very happy about it.
No, I meant that genuinely. People think I'm always being sarcastic. I just speak this way.
Okay.
That is true. That is true. I'm so excited, guys. Hey, also, we're like, this is being edited out, I assume.
Fuck, every time you guys, what are you gonna say?
I hope this was good.
I don't know what.
I cannot.
I had fun, so that's all that matters.
If it's not, I'm happy to redo.
Get off.
I love it. I think the fact that this was such a mess is exactly what Potty Talk After Dark needed.
I can't even engage with any of this.
Don't be angry at me. We're about to do a shot.
I'm not angry. I'm doing a shot. Bye. I don't mean bye as in bye.
And I will continue my role as the Navarro cheerleader.
Cheers. True. I love that show.
1, 3, 5,
you got really close.
7. 1, 3, 5, 7. 1, 3, 5, 7. And that's
I like gin though. I shouldn't cough like that. I do really like gin.
I actually just downed it.
I'm just really.
And there's our resident bartender gone.
Really, I have to just say this. The difference between when did I meet you, KENZ? Was I 18? 19. I would have been. No, I was 18.
You were 18.
I was 18 when I met Mackenzie. I am 23, turning 24. The way that liquor goes down at 18 and the way it does at 24, do not kid yourself, children. There is a.
Do you want to talk about 28?
True.
It's disgusting.
True. She's a lot older than me because she's my older sister.
First of all, how dare you say that?
Yeah, to put Kenzie on blast like that, bring up age.
Well, you said 28. That's already, you've already disguised it. Like you did it.
I mean, it's one thing to say I'm 28. One of the things to say, she's much older.
I'm dead.
Oh my God. I can't tell if our audience is going to love this or absolutely hate. They're going to say, Potty Talk After Dark, 1 episode, cancel the season.
If it's a mess, happy to reschedule.
I don't care. I'm getting so much negative energy from every Potty Talk episode that I think that maybe it's
Is that true?
No,
I think Tori's going on a bender right now. It's one comment. There was one negative
Fuck
review.
that little hater. He probably said it. Just isn't going in the booth,
I
right?
am not on a bender. I will be very clear. I'm not on a bender. I'm just saying.
Exit this.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
No. Are you leaving?
Bye.
No,
I'm not leaving.
I was just kidding.
I know you're not. She was saying I'm exiting.
Do we have like a after dark send off?
Fucking bro, what are you waiting for? Wait, Jack, that's so fucking funny. You like freeze frame and then disappear. It's like, call canceled. I hate that. I hate that so much.
Oh my God. Okay,
she literally pretends to have the call fail so that she can get out of the podcast. That's insane.
That's fucked up.
Deceased.
Jaclyn, this
What
type
up?
of energy we're not taking back to Amsterdam, so get
Thank
it
you.
fucking together.
Get it together.
Woo! I'll bring it with my suitcases. All of the right energy.
Torri,
I should-
I'm the baby. My bedtime is 9 o'clock.
Okay, guys, this is the end of Potty Talk After Dark. Love you. Bye.